What if the sun suddenly died? The sun is not merely the brightest object in our sky. It is the reason Earth exists and the engine behind every living cell, every gust of wind, and every drop of water that flows. It is 1.3 million times the volume of Earth and radiates the energy of 100 billion nuclear bombs every second. So what if, in an instant, the sun suddenly died? Not faded, not slowly cooled over billions of years, but ceased to exist, vanished, collapsed, or went dark without warning. This is not just a catastrophic event. It is a wholesale restructuring of physical reality, a rupture in the delicate balance that has sustained the solar system for 4.6 billion years. The first thing to understand is that Earth would not notice right away. Light and gravitational waves travel at the speed of light, roughly 300,000 kilometers per second. So for about 8 minutes and 20 seconds after the sun's disappearance, we would continue to bask in the illusion of a functioning star. The skies would remain blue, shadows would still stretch across the ground, and satellites would maintain their trajectories. And then, without warning, daylight would vanish. The sky would go completely black, not the blue of twilight or the orange of sunset, but a pure and total darkness. Stars would snap into view like a switch had been flipped. There would be no dawn the next morning, just eternal night. Simultaneously, Earth would be freed from the sun's gravitational grip. Our planet, no longer tethered by the 330,000 Earth mass anchor at the center of the solar system, would begin to travel in a straight line, tangential to its former orbit, at roughly 30 kilometers per second. The same fate would befall every planet, asteroid, and moon, each one turned into a rogue object, a wandering celestial refugee in the interstellar void. The solar system, once a harmonious gravitational symphony, would unravel into chaos. Collisions would become inevitable over millennia. Back on Earth, the temperature would begin to plummet almost immediately. Without the sun's energy, Earth's surface would lose heat rapidly, radiating infrared into space. Within a week, average global temperatures would fall below 17 degrees and 1 degree hours. In a year, they would plunge to 73 degrees Celsius, 1 at 100 degrees Fahrenheit. The oceans would begin to freeze from the top down, though geothermal heat from the planet's interior would keep the deepest layers liquid for perhaps millions of years. Life as we know it on the surface would cease. Plants would die within days due to the lack of photosynthesis, collapsing the food chain from its base. Electric grids, satellites, and other infrastructure would begin to fail as the human world grappled with permanent night and plunging temperatures. Humanity would need to retreat underground or into artificial biospheres powered by nuclear or geothermal energy. The Earth's surface, meanwhile, would resemble the icy moons of the outer solar system, Europa, Enceladus, or Pluto, frozen, dark, and lifeless. The sudden death of the sun also raises a staggering cosmological question. What killed it? Stars do not simply vanish. If the sun collapsed into a black hole, we would see gravitational effects different from simple disappearance. So a sudden, total disappearance would imply a physics-defying anomaly, a break in the laws we believe govern matter and energy. As humanity struggled to survive in insulated pockets or subterranean sanctuaries, science would take on an almost religious urgency. Telescopes would sweep the sky not for beauty, but for clues. Had the sun been consumed? Had something replaced it? The very fabric of human belief systems, scientific, spiritual, and existential, would be tested. Even in the worst-case scenario, however, Earth would not be alone in the dark. Radio signals, stored data, and robotic missions across the solar system would continue for a while. Probes like Voyager 1 and 2, drifting far beyond Pluto, would carry the story of our civilization into the cosmic void, unchanged by the sun's disappearance. The sun's end would also mark the beginning of a new kind of cosmological frontier. Could we ignite a new sun? These ideas, once confined to speculative fiction, would become urgent, desperate blueprints for survival. In the end, the sudden death of the sun is not merely a story of extinction, it is a crucible. It asks whether a species that emerged from the warmth of a stable star can survive the cold logic of a universe governed by entropy and chaos. The sun is more than a source of light. It is a symbol of continuity, of constancy, of time itself. Because in the darkness, knowledge is not just power, it is survival.